Episode 105. Take one.
All right, episode 105. How you doing tonight, Eric?
Good.
That episode number reminds me that we missed an anniversary last week.
104.
104.
2 years.
Exactly. 104 is a nice multiple of 52. So, congratulations.
Yeah. What did you just do to celebrate episode 104?
Forgot.
Same.
Until 105. Oh, it's okay. It's good. No. Yeah. And I guess technically we didn't actually release the first few because they were particularly bad and or not suitable for public consumption. But yeah. Oh, it's all different. Good. That means we're entering year 3, though, of the podcast, which is doesn't seem like
crazy.
It's been that long.
No,
it's kind of frightening.
Yeah, let's see how much longer we can keep it up.
Well, if I can remember that it's Wednesday, I've had a couple of close misses these last few weeks. But anyway, so how was your weekend? Your week? Do anything fun?
I'm trying to remember. So Sunday we went over to some a friend's house, and so it's a family we've been hanging out with and doing these. I think I mentioned it to you.
Oh, the taste test.
The taste test.
Okay.
So he hosted at his house this time, and he got a bunch of steaks and put a bunch of different just dry rubs on the steak. And so we taste tested 6 different dry rubs on steaks. The most exciting thing about it was he cooked all the steaks in a sous vide.
Oh.
And I am now sold on a sous vide. And so that's pretty much what I told my wife I wanted for Christmas.
Okay. Why were you sold on it?
The steaks were very tender and very tasty, and they were pink in the middle, which is what I like, but not bloody, which is probably a little bit TMI for a podcast. Okay. But they were very, very good and tender. And he was saying, yeah, because they kind of cook in boiling, in water and a vacuum sealed bag, it cooks to whatever temperature you want. And, you can leave it in an extra half hour, or it's very forgiving on cooking time.
It's very controlled.
Yes. So I was like, it was some of the best steaks, some of the best made at home steaks. And then he said what he did after he cooks them in the sous vide, he then takes them out on the grill and sears them on, either side of the grill to kind of get the outside a little.
The crispy bits are the good bits.
Anyways, it was really good. And I discovered that I just had the name of the dry rub, and now I'm going to forget it and ruin this whole bit.
Uh-oh.
Because now I don't remember it. But there was definitely a winner, at least in my book. But this one, unlike the other things we've tried, this one had the largest variety of people who absolutely loved one and absolutely hated one.
Really?
Whereas, yes, there were a couple dry rubs that I thought were disgusting.
That other people liked?
Other people marked those as their favorites.
Oh.
So there was like no consensus this time.
Nice.
We've tried different vanilla ice creams, different types of chocolate, different types of root beers, brands of root beer. Those all seem to have, and then some favorites, and they kind of clumped. This one was all over the place. So it was fun. So that was what we did. That was my exciting thing this weekend was taste testing steaks with dry rubs made in a sous vide.
You weren't thinking of the Montreal steak seasoning.
No, but I discovered that he actually had the Montreal steak seasoning, but didn't realize until afterwards that he bought the smoky Montreal steak seasoning, which adds that artificial smoke flavoring.
Okay.
Which I think is disgusting. So that was actually my worst.
Your least favorite?
Because it was, yes, the least favorite. It was over the top on the fake smoke flavor.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little
It is very easy to go overboard on that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least on the liquid smoke drip stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
about the Montreal. So,
Yeah, your cat's back.
yeah, the cat is back. She just hopped up on my lap. So, let's see. What did I do? I had a sick kid most of the weekend, which was not cool.
Well, that's no fun.
Yeah, actually, he's been gone. He missed the first 3 days of school too. I think we're gonna send him tomorrow, but he's still got quite a cough. But you know, sometimes those coughs can linger for a long time. So I don't know. We'll see. But I guess the other thing I did was I'm trying to make some Christmas presents for the family and stuff, and so I'm making some cutting boards at the moment. I made some pens earlier, and but the cutting boards that I glued up, yeah, it was gonna take. I felt like it was gonna take forever to sand them down, and a buddy of ours has a planer that he let me borrow, so. I probably could have just sanded them, but I was like, but I'll go, and this will be a fun chance to test out and play with a planer. So I went and got a planer, and so now those things are done. Well, they're almost done. I got them sanded last night, and now I gotta finish them, which is not going to happen tonight because tonight is podcast night. But next couple days I'll get them finished up, which will be fun. And
the pictures you showed me were really cool.
Yeah, I think they'll turn out nice. I can't wait to actually get the finish on, because that's kind of when everything kind of pops. Oh, I think the other consequence of this is probably that if I go and buy a planer of my own, I might want to get an even bigger one. But that was also kind of not subliminal. What am I saying? But just sort of a side effect that I was kind of hoping for, was to try one out and kind of see what I felt like. But anyway, so that was fun. So I've definitely spent more time out in the shop, just kind of building some stuff, because we did a bunch of other sort of projects around the house around the property this past weekend. They also had a winter market at my younger boy's school, which they had just a bunch of craftspeople, I guess, come in with booths, and so we actually bought some Christmas presents there, and then he. The boy, although this was when he was getting sick, so hopefully he didn't get other people in his class sick, but they played music out in the foyer.
Foyer.
A couple of foyer. Foyer. A bit. Although we found him while we were just kind of hanging around so that he could do the music stuff. We found him actually sleeping in the music room, which kind of was a sign that he's not feeling 100%. So we got him home, and then spent a lot of the rest of the weekend, or he spent a lot of the rest of the weekend in bed, basically. It's good. We're kind of coming up to Christmas fast.
Yep.
I guess the other weird thing is we have our Christmas tree in the living room, but we still haven't decorated it. It's been up for a week, and we haven't decorated it. So that's got to be this weekend too.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we've only got lights on ours.
Okay. Well,
and we've had it up for two weeks, a week and a half, and it's only got lights on it so far.
Oh well. Yeah. Well, we're the sort that have like 1,000 Christmas ornaments, all of which we sort of carefully pack away every year and carefully get out and have most of the boxes, and we've got a ton of ornaments. So it's a big undertaking, and anyway, I guess we're kind of waiting for a full family to be available, but we'll see. Hopefully next few days.
Alrighty.
All right. So what do you got for a follow-up for me this week?
So remember last week we talked about the iPhone 11 was making a location request. It was a Brian Krebs article. And the response from Apple was, oh yeah, we just do that. And they were
I remember
It
making a
was
comment to say, that's not a response that can stand.
yes. Well, apparently Apple has clarified, and probably the initial response was someone who probably shouldn't have been responding. I get the feeling.
That would be my guess.
So the response is that Apple is using a new technology called ultra wideband, which allows this spatial awareness for iPhones to understand its position relative to other iPhones around. I think if you remember,
Well, and the tiles, they were supposed to come out with their own
yeah,
like tile equivalent that,
correct,
right?
yeah, and so yeah, if you remember in the when they announced the iPhone 11, I think one of the demos they did was being able to kind of point your phone at some other phone, and it would know that you were pointing at, John instead of, Susan, kind of thing. Where you pointed your phone, actually it leveraged this technology. So, but one of the things they found is it's not officially released yet. I mean, the hardware is all there, but the software is not available yet because in certain countries it's not approved for use. And so the reason why the location is going off is the phone is checking the physical GPS location to see if it's in an area that is prohibited to use ultra wideband, so they can comply with regulations.
Oh.
So that's the basic reason why this was. So we'll link to the follow-up article there.
Well, that's a convenient reason.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, anyways,
Hmm.
probably if that had been the original response, it would have been a lot less.
Right. And no big deal.
Yeah, it would have been, oh, gotcha, I understand. You're not. That's all you're using it for. All right.
I wonder. I'm picturing the memo that goes out to all support employees inside Apple and other companies that are like, okay, but if the person asking the question is Brian Krebs, please escalate. Please escalate.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
The responding to him is above your pay grade.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm a senior director. It's above your pay grade. Oh, but I'm a VP. It's above your pay grade. Sorry. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be curious when that feature comes out, though. There's definitely a few things that I would be happy to put a little tile on, but I haven't really wanted to do the tiles. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, well, I kind of had a follow up, but it's mainly because I decided we might just need a segment called the Open Bucket of the Week, because they're just so many of them.
It seems like a very polite way to say breach of the week.
But this is a very, I feel like you could have like different categories. So it's the Elasticsearch of the week, the Mongo of the week, the bucket of the week,
S3 of the week.
Yeah. So this is and I'm sure there are many buckets that don't, that are basically like pictures of what I ate last week that nobody cares about. But there seem to be plenty of buckets that are like critical actual data. So in this particular case, this is from a company, well, presumably a company that does birth certificate and death certificate requests.
Oh.
So this is a quote, more than 752,000 applications for copies of birth certificates were found on an AWS storage bucket. So, and for multiple states. So I've had to ask for a copy of a birth certificate for my kids, for example, relatively recently. And, so I certainly went to a couple of states worth of sites, and at least one of them that I remember seemed like it was done via an outsourcing thing. They didn't actually say who is responsible for this because it's not fixed. Because the company that they have been trying to contact is not responsive. So
that's a bummer.
That's exciting. Yeah. The other quote I pulled out of here was, you can imagine that an application for a copy of a birth certificate actually does require some private data.
Right.
So the other quote I pulled out was, the applications we reviewed contained the applicant's name, date of birth, current home address, email address, phone number, historical personal information, including past addresses, names of family members, and the reason for the application, such as applying for a passport or researching family history. So
kind of all the stuff you need to send to a credit agency.
Kind of all important stuff. Yep. So
bummer.
Anyway, we'll see. Bucket of the week.
All right. Well, so my topic, I have two topics. First one is a macOS Fileless Attack.
Ooh.
So I don't talk a lot about attacks on Macs. Attacks on Macs.
Mac Attack.
Mac Attack, because generally it's not as big a surface area and there's a lot more interesting things to talk about. But this one, as a very long time Mac user, I thought this article was interesting. It's very detailed on the type of attack and how it works, and kind of goes through the entire analysis of what it does. But the kicker to this one is the fileless attack is kind of the new way to do attacks. Traditional antivirus or traditional
malware
detection capabilities of malware look for stuff on the file system, or stuff as it's either written or read from the file system. So if you can create a fileless attack where you're only executing your malware in memory, it's a different avenue you can go. And so this is attributed to the Lazarus group, which is also attributed to a North Korean hacking group, but it goes through and details essentially how you get infected, and it is currently targeting cryptocurrency exchanges. So the idea is, of course, then to steal cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency keys. It installs a very small script into your launch D, and what it does is it loads every time you boot your machine. It sits and runs, and you just kind of pings a server. So it's a server that's just every 10 minutes looking to see if it needs to do something. And then, so there is a physical piece that sits on the disk, but it's not necessarily malicious. All it does is query a server to say, do I need to do something? And when it does, it pulls whatever the payload is down and completes a completely fileless, so it never writes anything to disk, attack. Jumps around memory and runs whatever the payload says completely in memory, separate from the code that launched it. So I thought it was just kind of an interesting detailed analysis of an attack on Mac OS that is not something we see a lot of.
So how did they get the daemon process or the daemon configuration launched in the first place?
That's the phishing part. So you get fished into downloading a cryptocurrency tracker kind of app. It downloads.
That's the Union Crypto Trader.
Right. Yeah. So it convinces you to download a Union Crypto Trader package, which is unsigned, which does something useful, but it also, at the end of the installs this little tiny daemon that calls home every, I think, 10 minutes to ask the server if it needs to do anything, if it has a payload, and it'll send that back. If it ever does, send the payload back and then completely execute that all in memory.
Interesting. Huh.
So fun little attack for the Mac.
I guess I'm a little surprised that it's with the daemon instead of like a cron job or something like that.
I got nothing.
Well, no more comment on that.
No need to talk about it anymore. And then my next article that I saw this week was, originally I saw a blog on a German blog in a German magazine about someone who did some privacy analysis of TikTok.
Okay.
So TikTok is a extremely popular app among the teens, as I have teens myself, and they always want to show me the latest TikToks, which they think are hilarious. And clearly I have finally crossed whatever threshold you cross as a dad.
Now you get to yell at clouds.
To then realize that that's just not funny. I know what humor is, and that's not humor. But yeah, TikTok is essentially, what was the Twitter one before?
Vine.
Vine, yeah. It's basically my kids, my teenagers as well, loved Vines, and then Vine went away and they got mad, and now TikTok is back. So TikTok has been sued, and I think they end up having to pay for violating, collecting data on kids and proof they've collected data on kids. It was a company called Musical.ly, Musical.ly, which was acquired by a Chinese company, and this Chinese company has now rebranded that as TikTok and made it extremely popular globally. And they seem to be stumbling across a number of privacy issues. They send all your videos and information about your behavior that you're watching, what you're watching, etc. They send that off to Facebook and leverage Facebook's analytics. Tracking stuff so they can see all sorts of data about you. So just a heads up for those of you with teenagers using TikTok. They're in a little bit of hot water most recently, and just kind of keep your eye on what's going on with TikTok. I'm not really sure what you can do other than go into the TikTok app and disable a number of the sharing features if they're even available. So those are my two things that passed my eyeballs this week.
Yeah, I guess I've seen a number of videos, but I haven't installed the app. Cause no. I must have passed the old man threshold a while back. All right. Well, I only have one topic because I have 3 something funs. But this was the thing that I most saw. I thought kind of twigged my interest the most this week, which was a new attack that has a cool logo, of course. It's called PlunderVolt.
PlunderVolt.
And who likes their plunder?
Pirates.
So the logo has like a CPU with a pirate patch on it. So I thought that was pretty funny. Did you see it?
Now I'm just looking at oh my goodness.
Now you can't unsee that.
Someone had too much fun.
Yes, exactly. So this is another, basically a hardware attack that is caused by, or accomplished, I guess, by volting. I guess that's why they call it PlunderVolt, is because it's undervolt. You undervolt the CPU, and the thing is that this is a way to attack a secure enclave, because if you get root on a system, you could probably already get whatever else you want. But the secure enclaves are intended to execute code that might not even be, or it might execute on an untrusted OS, where even the root user on the OS isn't trusted. And so if there's a way to basically extract secrets out of an enclave, that would be contrary to the purpose of the enclave in the first place. So, and that's basically what they've managed to do. So I think for linking to this, we should link to the actual plundervolt.com. But I did actually see some summary articles too. There was one on TechCrunch, and this plundervolt.com, they've got 3 really short videos out here. They're all like under a minute of just demonstrating what you can do. So the first is just demonstrating that you can cause multiplications to fail by undervolting. And then the second one is faulting AES inside an SGX enclave. Oh, so I guess that's something I should have said. We've mentioned SGX, I know, on other episodes, but SGX stands for Secure Guard Extensions. Those are the CPU instructions that were added to the Intel chips that control the enclave. And basically the main vulnerability here is the fact that you're allowed to undervolt an enclave in the first place. And I think that's how what the Intel remediation was basically removing the ability to control the voltage for enclaves in the first place. Because the voltage control is done for overclocking generally. Most people, most enthusiasts at least, still like to get CPUs that they can overclock and sort of take a risk of having them fault, but it's okay. So let me see. So I pulled a couple of things out of here. So the first is, let me read this quote here. Why are they attacking enclaves? Because the undervolting interface is only accessible with root privileges in the untrusted operating system. It wouldn't make sense to attack software with undervolting when you're already root, apart from the case of SGX, which should protect against a root attacker. So that's kind of the intent there is, this is a way to attack something that shouldn't be attackable. They did check, though, that the undervolting interface is not available to guest hypervisors. So you can't do this from guest account, which is good for cloud providers, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the other things, though, is that it is possible to be exploited remotely. I mean, if you can get a remote code execution and escalate to root remotely on any device that has, the enclaves in use, then you can attack this remotely. So sorry, I was talking about the videos a minute ago, but the first video just says, faulting multiplications and showing that. But then the second one shows how, if you can cause a fault during one of the multiplications necessary when doing an AES encryption, you can do a diff basically and compute what the key was. And then, although the video wasn't super clear, and I didn't read the full paper, but it sounded like they might have gotten lucky or had to get lucky on which round of AES the fault happened on, so that they could actually leverage a second attack to AES. But then the third video they have here is basically causing a fault in a memory access so that it can cause the enclave to write memory outside of its private memory. So write to a memory address outside the private memory, which basically would allow for the revealing a secret that isn't supposed to come out of the enclave. So the nice thing about this is it was all responsibly disclosed. I mean, hardware things like this are harder and less likely to be patched quickly, if at all, by people, because it requires both a firmware patch and a BIOS patch. But Intel does have a patch available. Intel responded well to this. as you'd expect from Intel. But anyway, I thought this was the most interesting thing I kind of saw this week.
Well, I saw that there was also looks like Clock Screw and Volt Jockey are similar attacks on ARM processors. Did you read that part?
I read I'm looking at the FAQ question down there.
Yeah. So I guess that's interesting that PlunderVolt is an Intel thing, and we talk about Intel, but it's not just Intel. It could be ARM processors are vulnerable apparently to something similar.
Yeah,
it just is called Volt Jockey, and probably is a picture of a
lightning riding a horse. I don't know. So no, I have not actually heard of those. So I wasn't aware of that. I'm reading the answer to the FAQ at the moment, saying that they target the ARM processors in the ARM trust zone.
Yeah, so I saw that. I tried to Google around. I only saw academic papers. I didn't see a cool website. There's no voltjockey.org or something. So, well,
see?
I didn't try going there because you never know random domains on the internet. But
you don't do that.
Yeah. So, but hey, plundervolt.com, you win.
All right. Well, hey, how about something fun this week? What do you got for me?
All right. So you have two. I'm going to have one, but it'll be two. It's one, but it'll two. So we're going into the holiday season.
It's one, but it's two. It's like light. It's a wave and a particle.
That's right. Okay. It's one, but it's two. So it's holiday music recommendations. So just quite simply,
I like holiday music. Two
of my favorite holiday music. One is Pentatonix.
Okay.
They're an a cappella group. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I have heard their stuff. I'm not like a rabid fan or anything like that, but
they have a fun website for the holidays. So you can go to their website, ptxofficial.com, which is Pentatonix Official, ptxofficial.com, and it'll actually redirect you to their holiday house, which it's annoying because it's depending on how fast your computer is, it's slow. You kind of drag your mouse over a house and click on different things and be able to discover things and play little games and, kind of a festive website for the holidays. And so that's my first one.
Okay.
Is Pentatonix, acapella,
that's
really cool vocals, great holiday music if you're into that kind of thing. And my second one is the Piano Guys. I like the
Piano Guys.
A couple old guys. Well, there's four of them. They're old dads, and it's a guy that plays the piano and a guy that plays the cello, and a producer and a video editor. And they have very popular YouTube videos. They're very popular on YouTube. I've seen them in concert a couple times where they've come to Oregon. It's piano and cello music.
And they have a holiday music.
And they have several. I think they probably have a new one. I haven't actually checked, but you can get all their music on your favorite music streaming service as well, both Pentatonix and the Piano Guys. So any of your favorite streaming music probably has whatever catalog there. So there is my something fun. Go listen to some holiday music, a cappella or piano.
Okay, that's cool. This is the only time that you get to listen to Christmas music, holiday music. So
unless you're my daughter, then you listen to Pentatonix year round.
That's not right, Eric. That's not right. Okay, so I have a super mega ultra fun week. Kinda. I had thrown a whole bunch of links. Well, more than 3 actually, but I'm gonna do 3 because there's more stuff that's gonna happen next week, and that'll be fun too. And so you gotta just go with the stream. So the first one is just a fun little website to scroll through, but it's called the site is neal.fun/deepsea. So the link will be in here, but it's neal.fun/DEEP/C SEA. And basically it's just it's one of those I guess it's not quite infinitely scrolling, but a infinitely scrolling website that says what's at what level in the sea. So
how deep do things go?
How deep do things go? And let me just say, they go very deep. So you'll scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll.
I'm scrolling.
And keep scrolling. And it goes, let me just say, it goes very deep. And that's very cool. And there's there's little bits about it and about the critters on there. So the giant oarfish, for example, can grow up to 11 meters long, and that's at 818 meters deep.
I'm stuck on the gummy shark at 340.
Right.
What is a gummy shark?
So you'll spend like 3 or 4 minutes scrolling through and reading, or maybe 5 or 10 minutes scrolling and reading everything there, which is really cool. But I thought this was just a fun little quick site. So
this is creeping me out now. I can't stop scrolling.
Right? Okay.
What's your next one?
You have to complete this on your own. This is homework for you to complete, not during the podcast. Okay, this one also you may not complete during the podcast. I only saw it this week, but I don't know if it's been out before. But this is practicalai.me. So I'm working on the. You have to have a cool domain, evidently, for me this week. So practicalai.me. And this is a bunch of notebooks that, what's it called? It's Google Colab. Collab.research.google.com is where the notebooks are actually hosted. But this is a website that has got some things to help teach machine learning. So, you can go to basic machine learning and learn a little bit about notebooks and Python and NumPy, pandas, or start into machine learning and, for linear regression, logistic regression, multi-layer perceptrons. I don't know what a perceptron is. And there's basic, production, advanced, and these people are trying to build basically a platform where other people can contribute as well. So it says it's coming in February of 2020. But even at the moment, if you come out here, there's some cool stuff. And I feel like you could lose a good number of hours in this site and learn a bunch of things. So, and it's all mostly using, at least the more advanced ones that I went to, it looks like it's using TensorFlow and Keras. You're clicking on notebooks, aren't you?
No, I'm still scrolling through deep.
Oh, you stuff. evil man!
It's not stopping. It's still going.
I told you it would go deep.
All right, sorry. What's your next? What's your last one?
Oh, you didn't even look at the practicalai.me. It's really cool. You should check it out.
All right, I will go check it out.
Okay. All right, and then my third one, and this was only because. This is literally, it wasn't this video, but the video that we'll link in here was what we were watching right before I came over to sit down at the desk and record with you. Was a YouTuber called Ace of Clay, who does like clay sculptures and stuff like that. And my older boy's been doing a bunch of clay sculpting, and so. I just thought this was really cool. So this is some fun sort of crafty stuff to watch. And the link we'll put in here is him making a clay, like a sketchbook cover, and it's cool. So check it out. All right. So those are my 3 fun things for the Super Mega Ultra Fun Week.
Very cool. You gave me lots
of
homework,
aren't you?
I'm at 3209 meters deep. The stoplight loose jaw. It's still going. It's a cookie cutter shark. This shark takes cookie-shaped chunks out of its prey. Who's it eating at 3,500 meters deep? Oh, lizardfish. That's who it's eating.
Well, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that they're eating things down there. It's that's the deepest that they've been known to dive. So. It could be that they do most of their feeding higher up or something along those lines, but
Oh, I found the Titanic wreckage.
At how deep?
3,800 meters. All right, I'm sorry.
But it's cool, isn't
more
it?
Attention.
That
is very cool.
Maybe I should.
I like those infinitely scrolling.
I should have just stopped
They're
at the
fun.
one fun thing. But
no.
I
Now I have practical AI. Although I have ideas for that practical eye me. Practical eye me.
Practical AI. Practical eye.
I have ideas of what I can use that for. Hint, hint. So,
you're a genius.
All
okay.
right. At least to myself.
We should end the podcast so you can keep scrolling into the deep sea.
4,000 meters. It's now frozen. All right. Have a good night, John.
You're still scrolling.
I'm still scrolling.
All right. I will talk to you later, Eric. Good night.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.